Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today is the day that we finally begin taking a look at these Edel collectible figures, and this one specifically is probably the single most anticipated review that has ever been on my channel, because it is the day that we finally take a look at the MV version of the Edel Collectibles Tyrannosaurus Rex. As you can see, looking at it straight away, there is no doubt in anyone's mind where the inspiration came from this Rex, and of course when you hear MV, you obviously are going to be able to put two and two together and figure out that this is in fact the movie version, so clearly it is very, very Jurassic Park inspired. And honestly, I think it does such an incredibly good job of not only replicating the Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex, but specifically the maquette that I think was used back in the day. Everything about this really looks very, very similar to that. And on top of that, if you can recall the back of the Kenner box, the prototype T-Rex that we had all wished for back in the day when the original Jurassic Park line had come out, this also kind of has that strong vibe of that. Really reminds me of that as well, and I think that is some of the very appealing factors of why I love this figure so much, and I was so unbelievably excited to get a hold of this figure and take a look at it with you guys. And thanks to Edel Collectibles, they give us the opportunity to do just that, so let's go ahead and get a closer look at this beauty right now. So starting up here at the head, as far as the head sculpt goes, honestly, it is spot on to the Jurassic Park Rex. I think everything on this is so beautifully sculpted. You could just see so much incredible detail all over the head of the Rex. It is honestly mind-blowing just how much work has gone into the sculpt of the Rex. Everywhere you look, the beautiful scaling really quite nicely replicates the Jurassic Park version. Everywhere you look, you've got beautiful cracks and crevices up here. The nostrils are sculpted out perfectly. The detail all around the eye also looks incredible. You've got that very nice yellow eye in there with the black pupil. And let's not take away from the paint. The paint application on this is also incredibly well done. I think it is easily the most beautifully painted Jurassic Park style Rex that I've honestly ever seen in person. As far as a figure goes, this is just off the charts beautiful as far as the paint application goes, but also the sculpt in general. And you can see it's just so incredibly nice. No matter which way you move the body parts, every little area is beautifully sculpted, every spot that I see, and it honestly looks just like the Jurassic Park T-Rex in my opinion. If you look inside the mouth there, try to get an angle where you can actually see it nicely in there. You can see the tongue is really nicely sculpted. Everything in there is beautifully detailed. You can see the top of the mouth there. It's all painted with this nice, very realistic pinkish coloration. Even the skin flap here on the side of the mouth sports some really nice sculpt and detail. So that looks great. The teeth are also all individually sculpted and all individually painted. And they have kind of a yellowish type of a color, which is a very realistic shade of coloration for the teeth, I think. Something that you would most likely see on a real living dinosaur. They're not going to brush their teeth or anything, so you're not going to have those really bright white teeth like you would expect on a regular everyday human being. You're not going to see that on a dinosaur, and I think that really beautifully shines through here with the paint apps that they've chosen overall. The coloration of the head, again, I think is really beautifully done. You can see many different variations of browns and stuff and blacks and everything all throughout. They've done a very good job of replicating the overall design when it comes to the paint scheme of the film version of the Rex, so it really looks beautiful every area that you look. As you start to lead down the neck, you can again see how incredibly nice looking the skin texture is. Lots of cracks and crevices and creases all throughout the skin texture of the neck and everything, even down here on the underside, and it's been given a beautiful wash to really bring the detail all out in perfect fashion. When you get down here into the shoulder blade, you can really nicely see the shoulder blade protruding from the skin there. You come down into the arms, and again, the paint application looks really beautiful everywhere you look, but look at the nice creases in the skin here. As you run down the arm, really nice muscle tone. You can really get a sense of the bone structure there in the arm. The hands in general are painted really nicely. Beautifully painted nails, and you can see them nicely glossed and glistening. like real nails would. As you move back up into the body, you can kind of get a sense of the skin stretching there off of the body a little bit, depending on where you have the arm. Nice skin texture all over the place. Again, you can see just so many creases and everything in the skin. The skin texture of the figure has that very large animal feel, exactly what you would expect to see on something as large as a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it looks great. Even the striping that runs along the back, you can see kind of has like tones of black and brown throughout, so it looks really, really nice as far as skin variation and skin tone goes. You can see the nice skin texture down here in the lower part of the stomach as well, and it's been hit with a nice wash everywhere, a really dark wash to beautifully bring out that detail and sculpt. Nice scoots that run along the hip area, again exactly what you do see on the Jurassic Park Rex. As you run down the leg here, you can see that the sculpt has some very nice muscle tone there in the leg, really huge bulging thigh muscles. You can see as I turn it here just how nice they look. Again, lots of creases in the skin and everything, and that beautiful paint application looks great. All those different variations of browns. You've had nice dry brushing with the dark brown, and you can see the mixtures of blacks and browns throughout. Really nice calf muscles as well. You can almost get a sense of like the veins and everything in the leg there. Beautiful looking feet. Look at the foot sculpt of that. That looks great, honestly, and the paint application is fantastic down on the feet as well. Those very bird-like Tyrannosaurus Rex feet, but at the same time they look exactly like the Rex feet from the film. The nails are also painted perfectly. There's no sloppiness at all. As we come back up here into the tail, again, you can see the really nice sculpt work as far as the skin texture. You can see some very large type of a scaly type of an appearance here and there. Really nice sculpt and detail the entire way out the tail as we lead out to that very, very nice point here at the end. It does transition from that brown to a black and brown type of an appearance here at the end, primarily for the tail, but you've also got these stripes that run along the entire body. There's a ton of color variation as far as different browns and everything used throughout also. As far as the opposing side, you're really not going to find much difference in the overall sculpt because the dinosaur is pretty much in a very neutral position, so that allows you to pose it however you would like. The only difference would be maybe that the feet are slightly in a different position, or the legs I should say, but it's just ever so slightly. And overall, you can see that the sculpt and detail on both sides looks great no matter where you look at it. It is honestly an absolute work of art overall when it comes to the sculpt and detail of the figure. Even on the underside, it did get that very nice trademark chest design that the Rex has. You've also got the beautiful detailing of the underside of the feet, and of course the peg holes to put the Rex on the base. Really, really nice sculpt work that's been nicely brought out and shown to you with that dark wash that they did include. So you can really definitely tell that no matter what side you look at this Rex, it is sculpted to the max and painted to the max. Absolutely fantastic looking. And here is the base that is currently with this. We don't really need to look at this base because honestly the bases aren't finalized. It doesn't have anything on it that would be on it for the final release, like vegetation or anything that Edel Collectibles decides to use. This is pretty much just their standard base for right now that I think they have for the Rex, and things will probably change when it comes to the final release, as this is only a prototype. As far as the articulation of the Rex goes, you've of course got the articulated jaw, which works wonders, honestly. You can open it to many different widths, and it does stay exactly where you would like it to. Beautiful articulation there. You've also got the articulation in the neck in two different spots, and I love the way that they've done this as far as the seams to where the articulation is located, because honestly it doesn't really look super visible or anything like most figures that you would have when it comes to this kind of articulation. It meshes so well with the rest of the body that you really don't notice it too well at all, which makes the articulation even more impressive. But you can see just the range of movement for the Rex when it comes to the different ways that you can position the head, and it can look up, you can do the down look. Honestly, there's just so much that you can do as far as articulation with the figure. It's really, really impressive the range of movement that you have when it comes to the neck area of the Rex and just how many different positions you can honestly put it in. And every position that I seem to put it in, it stays perfectly. So it impresses me more and more every time I pick this figure up and mess around with it a little bit. It is very, very impressive. You've of course got the articulation of the arms, which can move forward and back, and then you've also got articulation in the legs, which works really, really well, and once you actually stand it on the base, it can balance everything out so perfectly and just create a world of different opportunities when it comes to how you want to display it or pose it. Both legs articulate really, really well. And then you've of course got the articulation in the tail, which can go up, down, left, right, all over the place. So as far as articulation goes, there is just an absolute ton included in this dinosaur. But honestly, the most important section, in my opinion, as far as articulation goes, is the neck area. And the articulation of the neck area in this figure is just so perfect, so smooth, so awesome. It's absolutely amazing. And then of course, as far as displaying your Rex and putting it on its base, you've got a peg hole right there. You slide it onto the peg right there, and it stays perfectly on the base. You can then display it in whatever position you would like. As far as a size goes, if we go from the front to the back of the Rex, you're looking at about, it's actually, you can't really see it with your angle, so let me move him down a little bit here. From the snout to the tail, it's coming in at about almost 15 inches or about 38 centimeters as far as a length goes. And the height is really up to you, depending on how tall you want your Rex to stand. I think that this is a pretty neutral position for the Rex, so actually we'll probably go about the hips, about 5 inches or about 12 and a half, almost 13 centimeters. And then for the neck, you've got about almost 5¼ inches or about 13 centimeters, somewhere in that range. Again, that all really depends and varies depending on how high up you want your Rex to be balancing. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex and the Edel T-Rex kind of trying to touch noses or lean on each other a little bit just so I can get them both in frame as best as possible. And you can definitely see that they are very similar sized, as this Rex is 1/35th scale. So I do believe the Papo Rex is around roughly the 1/35th scale. So they're very similar in size. However, the Edel Collectibles Rex is significantly longer due to it not being in the awkward kind of curled up Jurassic Park pose. But this should hopefully give you an idea that this is a pretty sizable Rex. And for another size comparison, here is the Edel Collectibles Tyrannosaurus Rex with the Rebor Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Killer Queen. And you can see that they are fairly similar in size, definitely right around that same 1/35th scale size range. Definitely size up quite well to each other. So this Edel Collectibles Tyrannosaurus Rex, the MV version, movie version, is absolutely amazing. Without question, the Edel Collectibles line is pretty much the future of dinosaur models, in my opinion, because these unbelievably well sculpted, beautifully articulated dinosaur models are the type of thing that myself and I'm sure many others have been kind of dreaming about for years. It's something that just looks so beautiful and is so cool to articulate and position in whatever type of a pose you would like. It's something that, as a collector, you just kind of wish would be made. And nowadays, it seems like the articulated dinosaur really is starting to become a thing. Many people are starting to create articulated dinosaur lines, but I think the fact that Edel Collectibles is creating many different species all at once, it's just super cool. As of right now, we have an adult movie version Tyrannosaurus Rex, an adult real version Tyrannosaurus Rex, a juvenile Tyrannosaurus Rex. You've also got a Pachyrhinosaurus, a Carnotaurus, a Spinosaurus in the works, Velociraptors. You've got a whole bunch of figures, a whole bunch of different species, and they're all incredibly beautiful, all really wonderfully articulated. And as far as the sculpts on each and every one of them, they're honestly jaw-dropping. They seriously are. They are so beautiful to see in person, and honestly just put me in a state of awe when I see them. When I first got these out of the box, I was blown away, and that is definitely still the same opinion that I get of this Rex. Even weeks later after receiving it, every single time I break it back out of the box and look at it, I am just absolutely amazed at how beautiful of a job Edel Collectibles did overall on the sculpt and the paint application. This thing is just top-notch in every single department that I could possibly think of. And as I said previously, really reminds me of the old Kenner prototype of the Tyrannosaurus Rex that we saw on the back of the packaging way back in the day. If any of you are familiar with that Rex, it has that very cool, very vintage Jurassic Park feel to it when it comes to that toy that we never got. But I feel like this unbelievable Edel Collectibles Tyrannosaurus Rex kind of fills the void in my heart when it comes to that, because now I have a dinosaur figure that looks just like it, but I can also articulate this one to any type of posability that I would really like or come up with as far as a scene I would like to recreate. This thing could be unbelievable when it comes to creating stop motion videos and things of that nature. So this Rex is awesome. I couldn't possibly recommend a figure any more than I can recommend this Tyrannosaurus Rex right now. And I decided to start these Edel collectible reviews with this figure to really spark any interest in them and show you guys the one that I think most people were probably looking forward to due to there being just so many Jurassic Park fans out there. I really wanted to get this one up first and show it to you guys because it is honestly breathtaking. But then again, the same can be said for every single one of the other figures that are in this line so far. So the first review is down. We will have the rest of them up here on the channel very, very soon. So if you want this Tyrannosaurus Rex, you can currently go over to the Edel Collectibles Kickstarter and back this figure and order it right now. Pre-order it so that you can own this unbelievable MV version of the Tyrannosaurus Rex for yourself and have it to hold and love like I do with this unbelievably cool prototype right here in front of me. So check the description, head on over to the Edel Collectibles Kickstarter right now. Make sure you back this figure along with any of the others you are in fact interested in. But before you do that, don't forget to please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of any future videos, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.